Think about your closest friend, the one who has been in your life the longest. When was the last time you actually talked to them? Not a text, not a voice note, a real conversation where you both said something that mattered. Because friendships do not end with a fight. They end without announcement, so slowly that by the time you notice something is wrong, it is already half gone. Stay with me until the very end. What I say last tells you whether you still have time to do something about it. The first thing that goes is so small, almost nobody catches it. Not distance, not a fight. Just the updates stop. Think about this friendship at its peak. They were the first person you thought of when anything happened. Something funny, something frustrating, you sent it to them first. You knew the texture of their days. What was stressing them? What they were looking forward to? Is that still happening? Because when that automatic reaching stops, the friendship has already started to fade. It became less instinctive, less frequent. Until one day you realize you have not spoken in weeks, and neither of you found that alarming enough to change. That is how it starts, not with a bang. With a silence, both of you let go just a little too long. What comes next is not about what stopped happening between you. It is about a choice both of you make every single day without ever saying it out loud. At some point, the plans stopped, or they kept being made and never kept. The "we really need to catch up" said over and over without a single date ever being set. Both of you tell yourselves, life has been busy. Which is true. But people find time for what they actually want to find time for. The time is not missing. It is just not going toward each other anymore. It is not even the missed plans that matter. It is how they feel. In a healthy friendship, a canceled plan is a disappointment. In a dying one, it is a quiet exhale. Both people feel it. And that small sense of release when you do not have to show up is one of the most honest signals a friendship has drifted further than either of you has admitted. The next sign has no outward trace. It lives entirely inside you. And most people never catch it until years have already slipped past. Real friendship runs on a specific kind of curiosity. You wonder how something went for them before they even tell you. You think about them between conversations. Their life feels interesting to you because they feel interesting to you. That curiosity cannot be manufactured. It is either there or it is not. When they share something right now, are you genuinely engaged? Or are you listening just enough to respond and flip it? When was the last time they asked you a real question? Not, how are you as a reflex, but an actual question that showed they had been thinking about you. When curiosity goes quiet on both sides, the friendship stops running on real connection and starts running on habit. That keeps things going for a long time. But it is not the same as a friendship that is alive. It is a friendship that has learned to look alive. And a friendship that has learned to look alive leads directly to the sign most people feel for months before they admit it. Because admitting it feels like a betrayal. There is a message from them in your phone you have been meaning to reply to. Not because you are busy, but because finding something real to say requires something you do not currently have. Or you caught yourself hoping plans you made would fall through. Not because anything is wrong with them, just because showing up to a conversation that never goes anywhere real anymore feels heavier than it used to. This almost always comes with guilt. It feels disloyal to admit someone you care about has started to cost you energy rather than return it. But it is not a character flaw. It is the accumulated weight of everything shifting in silence, the updates that stopped, the plans that fell through, the curiosity that went still, all pressing down until the friendship that once refilled you starts to take instead. In a dying friendship is not just something that happens to two people. It is something both people choose every single day. Without ever saying so, there was a time when your conversations went somewhere real, when you talked about fears, doubts, the things underneath the ordinary you did not share with just anyone. That depth was what made this friendship feel different from everything else. But at some point, they started staying careful, comfortable, and neither of you pushed deeper. Not because you stopped caring, because you both started to feel uncertain the other person still wants to go there. So both of you stay safe, and every careful conversation confirms the agreement to stay there. The gap between who you actually are and what you show each other keeps widening. It only takes one person to change it. One honest thing said out loud. The door is never locked. It just stops being opened. Here is what nobody tells you. Over time, the safe conversations do not just stay on the surface. They start rewriting who you are allowed to be around each other. At the height of this friendship, you had something rare. One relationship where the mask was completely off, where you could show up exactly as you were and know it would not change anything. Here is what it looks like when that reverses. You have a thought, and before you share it, you run a quick check. Is this too much? Will this land right? And you start choosing the easier version, the one less likely to create friction. At first, it is just one thing held back, but it compounds. And eventually, the version of yourself you show this person is careful and designed not to disturb the distance you have both settled into. A friendship that cannot hold the real you is not a friendship anymore. It is a habit between two people who used to know each other. Everything described so far is still fixable. One honest conversation can crack any of it open. There is one last thing, and this one is different from everything else. It does not describe a friendship that is fading. It describes one that has already crossed a line most people never even knew existed. Think about your life 5 years from now, the moments you are working toward. Is this person just there? Not consciously placed, just automatically assumed. Because at the height of a real long friendship, that person is simply present in how you imagine what comes next. Of course they will be there. Of course they will still know you. The sign that a friendship has moved from drifting to genuinely dying is when that assumption disappears. When you picture your future and this person is simply not in it. Not because you decided to remove them, but because the friendship stopped feeling like something you could count on. Do not let that feeling pass if you are sitting with it right now. Because the only thing that kills a long friendship is silence that goes on long enough to start feeling normal. And at some point, that silence stops feeling like something you can break. It just becomes the way things are. And by then, the friendship is not dying anymore. It is already gone. Is there someone you were thinking about this entire time? Someone whose name kept coming up in your head while I was talking? Comment their name below. Just because saying it, even here, is the first honest step toward doing something about it. Long friendships do not need grand gestures. They just need one person to decide the silence has gone on long enough. If they watched this right now, would they be thinking of you? Sit with that for a second, then do something about it. Subscribe, because next week I am covering the actual conversation that saves a friendship before it is too late. Go check on them right now. I will see you in the next one.